Hello everyone, welcome back. It is now obvious that we are not practicing democracy in Nigeria. Like, Nigeria is a lawless country. There is no rule of law in Nigeria. So today, National Assembly says Senator Natasha cannot resume office despite completing her 6-month suspension, that she remains suspended until the court case is over because this case is still in the court. My people, it means that they have already sacked her because no one knows how long is this court case is going to take place. Like, what kind of a country is this? Make I not even talk too much, because at the end of this video, I'm going to read that what Nigerians are saying concerning this matter. Take a listen and hear what Aisha Yusuf as well as Barrister Darlington have to say concerning this matter.
The Senate, after the expiration of her 6-month suspension, the acting clerk of the National Assembly, Yahaya Danzaria, stated this in a letter addressed to Ms. Akpati Udwagan regarding her earlier notification to resume legislative duties on September 4, following the completion of her suspension. Mr. Danzaria said that the matter was still sub judice due to a pending suit before the Court of Appeal. Barrister Darlington, what does that mean? The fact that she cannot resume her legislative duties at the National Assembly despite the expiration of her 6-month suspension, and that the case is still in court, so it's sub judice. What does that mean?
Esther.
Sir?
In the first place, that excuse is not tenable.
The excuse that the matter is sub judice is not tenable.
That is under litigation.
Okay.
The suspension came before the court action. And they said explicitly 6 months, and that 6 months have elapsed. This lady ought to resume. Then whatever now happens with the court, you cannot take it off from there. There was never a time or a place where the court said that you cannot resume your duty. Esther, for God's sake, it was Natasha's constituency that sent her to the National Assembly. Not the leadership of the Senate.
Okay.
So they have no right to suspend her. As a matter of fact, they have gone against their own rule, house rule. 14 days. Now became on what ground? Esther, on what ground? I said the way these people are doing this, our democracy, is so painful and so annoying. I just finished a show with a U.S. congressman. You know what he said? He said such a thing can never happen. That you can never, no matter what a lawmaker says in the house, you can't suspend him or her. He said they have not heard of such a thing. That he's even wondering where we copied our own democracy. The man said it. I'm not joking. He said it openly. That even this thing we are calling Senate President, there is nothing like that. It is the Vice President of America will now come and preside if there is a tie in the house. That is the Senate majority leader that runs the affairs of the house. So when he hears some of the things happening here that he used to be baffled, he was even wondering where we copied our own democracy, that it cannot be the same American presidency that we are practicing. The man was so surprised. He said it cannot, in fact, he said it can never happen. Nobody can dream of it. But here, it just happened and we just move on. And you are telling me that we are not behind the human race. Esther, when I tell you this thing, you don't take me serious, Abi. I told you that Nigeria is behind the human race by 50 years. These are the facts. Esther, these are the facts. You made your own house rule for 14 days suspension. And now somebody, because of arrogance and impunity, he took it to 6 months. And the court did not find anything wrong in that. And now that lady, like we just discussed, she may not come back to that house until after 2027.
So who are those representing her constituents?
What will they do?
Does the Senate have the right to impede a certain constituent in a state from being represented? What about projects that are meant to be carried out in that state? Okay, is it the governor that is in charge, or is it Yahaya Bello, who obviously is no longer the governor of Kogi State, or what exactly does that even mean?
Esther, what since had happened? A governor that was elected by the people was thrown out and suspended from office. And the military man is now doing the work of a governor. and even swore in, elected the local government chairman or appointed local government chairman. Esther, look at what these people are doing to our democracy. Look at what they are doing to Esther, somebody will say, you don't like Tinubu, you don't like APC. Esther, how can I be happy with this type of behavior? No, tell me. Any sane person will never tolerate this type of behavior. Because we are destroying the institutions, destroying our democracy, destroying our future. What are we bequeathing to the junior ones or to the generation coming behind? What are we bequeathing to them? Esther, what are we bequeathing? Do you know that it will take over 50 years now for us to recover what APC have done to us in Nigeria? 50 years will not be enough.
I want to understand what the legality is in saying that the matter is subjudice, and that's why she cannot resume.
Yes,
Serap has asked her to resume. PDP has asked her to go to national and resume her legislative duties. So what is the legal, where is the legal backing coming from for this?
Now, let me tell you, that's why I told that excuse is not tenable. When a matter is in court,
okay,
you don't take it to the marketplace and be talking about it and all that. You don't do analysis on it and all that. That's what it means, because the matter is before the court. So in order not to preempt the decision of the court, you cannot discuss or talk about it.
Barrister, let me read this. No administrative action. Okay, I am further directed to inform you that your suspension was with effect from Thursday, March 6, and draw your attention to the fact that the subject matter of your suspension is presently before the Court of Appeal. The matter therefore remains sub judice until the judicial process is concluded and the Senate formally reviews the suspension in light of the court's pronouncement. No administrative action can be taken by this office to facilitate your resumption. You will be duly notified of the Senate's decision on the matter as soon as it is resolved. Please accept, distinguished Senator, the assurances of my highest regard. So what if the court decides to take their sweet time in resolving or coming to a conclusion on what matters? Until then, the people of Kogi Central will have no representative at the National Assembly.
Is akin to suspending this lawmaker, just like they blame Fubara.
I don't understand. Is akin to suspending the lawmaker?
The lawmaker, yes.
She's being suspended.
No. That is suspending her responsibility for her people, to her people. That you are telling her that the people of Kogi Central, you don't have a senatorial representative. That is the meaning. The same thing they blamed Fubara for doing. Esther, can you see contradiction? Even the court has frowned at that they don't need to suspend her. Because in that hollow chamber, whatever you do or say, you are covered. That is it. You are covered, because if you begin to mortgage the senators or the lawmaker, that means they cannot express themselves freely. That is why within that hollow chamber, whatever you say or do, you are covered under the law. So why have they not taken their own extra, what do you call it, taking extra measures against this lady because she's a woman?
My question is,
so many men have been dealt with in this manner, but they came back.
But Barrister Darlington, can you recall when this matter happened? What was the saying they told us? That the House has its mandate to institute disciplinary measures on any of their erring senators or House of Rep members based on their rules and regulations or something like that. I remember when that matter went to court, they were like, it is left for them to resolve it. A committee was meant to be set up in the Senate to understand what kind of punitive measures will be given to Natasha for not obeying. I think it was an ethics situation, which obviously was within the jurisprudence of the House to resolve. So in this particular case now, they are saying that until the appeal court does what it needs to do, why is the appeal court taking this long after 6 months to
all of a sudden this Senate is now obeying court order? All of it.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lawal Kundaya, good evening. How are you?
Remember that after the appeal court, it will still go to the Supreme. I hope you know. Yes, now, if it is in favor of Natasha, Akpati will appeal it. That's the truth. They will go to Supreme Court. By that time, in fact, we have been talking of 2028.
So what are the people of Kogi doing about this, especially Kogi Central?
What do you expect them to do in the first place? What do you want them to do?
So you mean no projects, no administrative activities, no developmental projects within that constituency has gone on for the past 6 months, and there's a tendency that it will elongate further?
And they will still go there to campaign for votes in the next election.
So all the monies that are meant for senators and House of Rep members,
yes,
I heard 2 billion per month for their constituency project. Natasha has been denied it, or that Kogi Central has been denied it.
Of course.
So for the past 6 months, all of that money is being kept somewhere, or they are giving it to somebody?
Kept for who? Will you even ask for it? They will tell you there's no money. What will you do?
No, but is it right for a section of the people to be underrepresented and nothing done? And their monies meant to be allocated to them for developmental strides are being denied them.
Esther, all the things they denied the Fubara, did you hear that they will give it to him back when
Barrister, there was an administrator there put in by the president. The president imposed somebody there to administer. Nobody is administering while Natasha is on suspension.
No. Akpabio is carrying out that responsibility now. He decides what happened in Kogi Central now. Akpabio decides, yes.
Is there any formal notice to that? Or it's basically how it is?
Who told you that you do things formally here? No, hold on. For you to have suspended her, that means you have taken away that right from the people of Kogi Central. You have taken it away from them. And so whatever you like, we can do with it. Just like the lawmaker, U.S. congressman we discussed with this evening was saying. He said that it is unheard of in the U.S. He said that for you to do this kind of thing, that is not done. It's unheard of. That no matter what you do or say in the hallowed chamber, you are covered. It doesn't require all this suspension or whatever. He said it doesn't require it. But here, because of impunity and arrogance, you can see when little men have some small power like this, it enters their head and they begin to act like a god.
Who is the little man?
Esther, no matter how big a man is, as long as he's acting like a baby, he's a little man.
So Pablo is acting like a baby.
Well, how else do you describe it? When you are going against your own house rule, you say 14 days, Esther. 14 days, clearly stated and written. So what brought about 6 months?
It's actually funny how all of a sudden the house decides to follow its rule book.
No, ask me, did she kill somebody? What is that extra thing she did that warranted the 6 months instead of 14 days?
Barrister, so what about the committee that was set up by the president to investigate this? Remember that the vice presidents, the NSA, the AGF, they were all part of an elite committee to look into the matter. So where
nobody was even invited though. Nobody, are you aware? Nobody was invited to even discuss that matter or to even ask questions. Both Natasha and Akpabio, none of them was invited. So the committee have just died a natural death. It's as simple as that. That is the type of democracy you are practicing. Nothing is formal here. They just wake up and take decisions.
Mr. Lawal Kundara, how do you see this development?
Barrister Darlington said that it will take us 50 years to put things back in. I would say it will take us like 500 years because we are not even in the verge of stopping. You know, when you stop, that's when you begin to grow. But we are not even stopping the falling. You get it? We are not stopping. We are still falling. So when are we going to stop to begin to now count that we are going up again? We are not. We are falling badly. Down and down. So it will take us like 500 years before we can set this country back. Because what exactly, even the National Assembly is the Senate is sworn in to obey the Constitution. Am I right, Doctor Barrister?
That is they
are sworn in.
They are the lawmaker.
To obey the Constitution. The Constitution empowers you. Whatever law you made in your house, whatever regulations you made in the house is subjected to the Constitution. Your officer, whether you are Senate President, whosoever you are made that by the Constitution that you sworn to obey, and then you are acting outside the Constitution as if you are a dictator. I don't understand anymore. I don't.
Shebi, we ask for democracy. We are seeing it now.
I don't. That's why we should ask the person who gave us this democracy in the first place. Where did you get your own? Yes, we should ask him. I think it was we should ask the president. Former president Obasanjo. Where did you get this democracy from? You tell us where you copy it from. You tell us which principles or philosophy you are using. It should come out, because I don't understand what exactly is going on now. Where are we going to go? Everywhere now. We can't another day cannot step somewhere. If you go to court and you see the way they romance everything, and you'll be wondering what type of judgment is this?
Delay in the court, actually, because now when you say you're waiting for the court, there are talks that normally they're usually being induced or influenced.
So why are they buying them jeeps? Why is the executive buying them all these things?
Wait. You know, it is only when the CJN is leaving office, during their valedictory speech, you now hear them telling us all the bad things they went through, how the politicians was inducing them, how judgment is now cash and carry, how the politicians did not allow them to work. Only when they are leaving office, go and read the valedictory speech of Ariwola when he was leaving office. All this, I said, what? So this thing happened under your watch, and you are telling us now because you are leaving office, Abi? You can imagine all the injustices that were done.
Oh, you can talk about Malamina that is complaining about the government. We wonder whether you were not 8 years.
I went to visit him.
Hey, God.
Okay, so
National Assembly blocks Senator Natasha's resumption. The National Assembly says Senator Natasha Akpati cannot resume office despite completing her 6-month suspension. The Kogri Central Senator had written to the National Assembly notifying that her suspension had expired and indicating her desire to return to the Senate. Although the National Assembly is still on recess, the clerk to the National Assembly, in response to her letter, communicated that her suspension, which took effect on March 6, 2025, is still a pending issue in court. According to the letter sent by AIT News, until the judicial process is completed and the Senate reviews the court's pronouncement, no decision can be taken. I mean, this, as far as I'm concerned, this is a whole lot of foolery. Is that the right word? Is that how to even pronounce it? Like a whole lot of foolishness. How do you hold people captive with this kind of medieval laws that controls, where the Senate says, oh, as long as the matter is in court, you suspended someone, the suspension has lapsed, the matter is in court, you can't bring the person back until it's all resolved up until Supreme Court. Not that so you keep appealing it, and then it's not as if this issue is given an expedited process. For example, on an issue like this, so you treat it the way you also treat a tribunal issue, to say whenever this kind of case comes down to the court, then they must follow this process. They must quickly ensure that this process is followed through for the matter to be completed within that period, so that the person can go back, right? That's what that makes sense. But for you to say that, oh no, as long as the matter is in court, so for the next 10 years, if the matter is in court, no, you're not going to do anything, right? And so, you know, whatever it is, it's every 4 years. They have less than 2 years remaining, but I think it's June. They usually resume June. By June 2027, this whole thing, you know, will be out, will be over, and stuff like that. So when you see, so this absolutely does not make sense. And then now they're using this legality. It's part of their, whether Senate rules or whatever. Because I've seen someone that we're having a discussion, was it some few weeks back, and he told me that this was going to be the outcome. That as long as that matter is in case, whether it's in their Senate rules and all of that, that is a very absurd rule. That is a very absurd rule. And if such rule is going to be there, then there has to be a difference and a way, a channel, a speedy channel, where the process has to be followed through, because this is something like it's a bit different. Just like I said earlier, just like you have with the electoral processes and the tribunals don't follow the normal pattern that they follow. That's why before you know, in no time you see a case go from this blah 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 blah, it will get to Supreme Court and all of that, whereas you have some cases that are taking 40 years. And so if you're going to put this kind of rule, then there has to be a law that ensures that the Senate does not have the power, whoever is in the leadership of the Senate do not have the power to now use this particular whether rule, whether law, whether whatever it is that they have, to use it to abuse the office and use it to oppress and suppress people's voices or people's rights or people's whatever. So let me just go back to it. It said, according to the letter sent by AIT News, until the judicial process is completed and the Senate reviews the court's pronouncement, no decision can be taken. Part of the letter signed by the acting clerk to the National Assembly, Yahaya Danzaria, reads, the subject matter of your suspension is presently before the Court of Appeal. The matter therefore remains subjudice, and until the judicial process is completed and the Senate formally reviews the suspension, and in the light of the court's pronouncement, no administrative action can be taken by this office to facilitate your resumption. You will be duly notified of the Senate's decision on the matter as soon as it is resolved. Senator Natasha had earlier attempted to resume on July 12 following the Federal High Court judgment asking the Senate to review her suspension, but she was denied access, to the National Assembly. The Senate and the National Assembly had appealed portions of the judgment. So they appealed portions of the judgment. They didn't appeal the whole judgment. They chose the one they appealed on. And as long as this appeal, and even if you say the fact that there has been a judgment on the case, in a case as sensitive as this, that has time frame, that should suffice. You say, okay, use except if, of course, while you're going on, the case continues, in court. We can't have a situation whereby some institutions abrogate powers to themselves in a way that oppress other people's fundamental rights. The people of Kogi Central, they do deserve someone that is going to be there speaking for them, ensuring that their affairs are being taken care of. Now you have, for 6 months, they have been denied the constitutional right that they have for representation at the Senate, and then the 6 months is lapsing, and all of these things, are still coming up. The senator and the National Assembly had appealed portions of the judgment, which is currently pending before the Court of Appeal. It's always crazy. And the thing is that Akpabio feels, this is the problem of giving small-minded people opportunity. People who ordinarily never saw themselves going anywhere. When they get there, they now overuse it, because for them, they don't even realize that there is higher that they can be, and so let them do the right thing. There are other things. They feel this is the end of that opportunity, and for people like Akpabio, they feel that's the end of their opportunity for them to oppress and suppress everyone. And they're really oppressing a lot of people, not just, there have been lots of reports of, senators being oppressed. Senators can't speak. We saw the other day, senator coming to talk about, even for you to even have your motion read on the floor, you have to bribe with some millions of naira. A lot of people can't talk and all of that. There are a lot of senators who are even going through what Natasha is going to. Some of them was, some of them left. They can't open their mouth and speak. We just have a bunch of cowards that we elect into office. And I think it's very important for even us as a people to begin to look for, people who have courage to be the one to occupy these offices, especially National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly, because they're supposed to stand up to executive. This one that some people feel that they are the only ones that know how to do politics. It is their father's birthright. The rest of us, we don't know how to do politics. I don't want to do the kind of politics you're doing. It doesn't help Nigeria. If I'm going to do politics, I would do a different politics. You might not be the one you're used to, but the one you're used to, what value has it brought to Nigeria? This whole oppressive way of not allowing people who are doing the work that they're doing, do them. If we have a gang up of incompetent, elected officials ganging up against competent ones, it's just an annoying thing that really needs to stop.
Honestly, Olusegun Obasanjo and co need to tell us where they took this democracy from, because this one na cash and carry democracy, honestly. So somebody said, when terrorists gather, You know mayhem will be their only agenda. How can a people of Kogi be denied their right to constitutional representative at Nigeria's Senate? Are we truly in a democracy or military dictatorship? And another person said, when the so-called mini laws of the Senate reduce that chamber to rubber stamp, the needs of the masses no longer matter. Instead, they use that rubber stamp power to oppress anyone who dares to disagree. Imagine a whole senator elected to represent a constituency being denied the right to speak for his people simply because the mini lord of the Senate said so. Even when the court ruled she should return, the mini lord still insists on no. Nigeria Senate, you are representative of constituencies. How can one person be denied the same right to represent his people over mere allegation? And another person said, it is no longer the people's mandate that count, but what the court and the Senate feel like. Nigeria democracy is slowly becoming selection, not election. And another person said, looks more like political gatekeeping than due process. If the court hasn't disqualified her, what is stopping her resumption? The same system that cries about rule of law often bend it when it suits them. So my people, that is it. I hope you guys heard what Barrister Darlington Aisha Yusuf as well as what Nigerians are saying concerning this matter. It is really, really sad that APC is gradually destroying Nigeria. These people do not even care about rule of law, due process. They just want to do whatever they want to do. What a country. My people, I say make I bring this update to you guys. So please do wait to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe if today is your first time here. Share the video and give it a like. Thank you so much everyone for watching. And I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.